Welcome to this, the third and final video of password cracking with Hashcat presented by Ahjax. Now that we've covered some concepts and installed the required tools and software, we can start cracking passwords. We'll do this by going through a step-by-step walkthrough of how to use Hashcat. So what we'll be doing is we'll crack a password-protected PDF and then a list of MD5 passwords. To do this, you'll need the files listed on this slide, which are available below this video. If you already watched part 2 of this video series, you should have already downloaded these files. So before we start cracking, let's review the Hashcat command structure, flags, and output. This will help us understand the commands we're going to type in and the results we'll get. So the most basic Hashcat command is as follows: /hashcat followed by options, a hash file, and a mask or a dictionary. Like most command line commands, Hashcat has several flags or options. The two most commonly used are -A and -M. -A stands for attack mode and is followed by one of 4 numbers, either ranging from 0 to 3. Now, note that these are different attack types, and the straight attack mode is actually super fast on simple passwords. -M stands for hash type and is followed by a number. This number relates to the hashing algorithm that was used to encrypt your target. Because there are a lot of hash types, you'll need to look up the specific ones you need. You can either do this by Googling, buying some books, but in this tutorial we'll provide you with all of the numbers and flags that you'll need to use to be successful. So once Hashcat has successfully cracked a password, it returns the original hash followed by a colon and then the password. So the MD5 example on this page shows what standard Hashcat output looks like, and we'll encounter this as we go through our tutorial. Now, as we go through the tutorial, it'll be beneficial for you to know how I've structured my files. That way, when you see me type in commands, you can understand what's going on. You can organize your file structure however you'd like, but the tutorial will be easier for you if you organize your files like mine. So once again, to review what we're going to do, we're going to first unlock an encrypted PDF file, and then we're going to decrypt a list of MD5 hashes. We'll do this by following the password cracking methodology that we presented in part 1. And with that, let's get cracking. Alright, so let's go ahead now and crack the PDF's password. So you should have locked pdf.pdf already downloaded. So if you come and you try to open it, if you type anything in, it won't work, right? It's currently locked. So we're going to follow the methodology, and the first thing that we're going to do is extract the hash. Now also note, I've kept and made the password really short so that any modern computer can crack it almost instantaneously. So let's go ahead and first let's extract the hash. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to run the PDF to hashcat.py. And so the format for this is we're going to do first the Python file, then we'll do the PDF file, and then we'll do the right arrow. If you're not familiar with the command line, this right arrow right here, this lets us output our results to any file. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it the locked PDF hash.txt. So once you have this, go ahead and hit enter, and then if you come here and open it, you get a file that looks like this. If we were to run the command without the caret, it would produce this output to your command line. It's just easier if you have an output file. That way you can keep track of everything. So if you come in here, you can see it's been formatted to say this is a PDF, and then it has the hash within it. So now that we have that and our Python script has already correctly formatted the hash, we're going to calculate our rig's capabilities. So we've gone over steps 1 and 2. Number 3, we're not going to really necessarily evaluate the hash strength. We're not going to cover that in this tutorial. But in order to calculate your cracking rig's capabilities, you're going to want to run the /hashcat-b. This gives you a baseline b, and what I would do is I would output it to something like myrigs capabilities.txt, whatever you want to call it. Now, this is a command that is going to take quite a while to run, so I've already done that. So I'll show you my results here. If we open this up and we come here, what you get with Hashcat is a list of all of the different hashes. So here we have MD5, SHA-1, and as you scroll down, you're going to see different types of hashes. So there's Bitcoin, there's LastPass, and they keep updating Hashcat as new hashing algorithms are created. If you look here, here's the WPA, WPA2 that we used in our tutorial, in our example in part 1. And then if you come up here to the top, you can see it gives you, tells you what type of platform you're using. So this is an Apple, this is a MacBook Pro. Talks about what type of processor you're using, and then it uses your graphics card. So the fastest hash that, one of the fastest hashes that this computer can do is NTLM, or actually it's NTLM. It can do about 770 million hashes a second. So depending on your rig strength or graphics card, the amount of RAM, the processor, it'll be able to crack faster or slower. So now that we've gone ahead and looked at that, we need to formulate a plan. Now, we're just, the password I've created for this PDF document is just 3 digits. Just again to keep it simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate how to crack this password using both brute force and a Hashcat mask. While this is a super simple password, we're just keeping it really simple so we don't take too much time, especially if your computer is a little slower. Maybe you only have a couple gigabytes of RAM. Maybe you don't have that great of a graphics card. We just want to make sure that this is something anybody can do. So the 6th step is in the process is analyzing the password. And typically this will require some sort of research online about the password. As we've stated before, in this case we're going to use a password protective PDF, and this PDF has been encrypted via Mac Preview. The other thing about PDFs is there are lots of different versions of PDF files. And if you look in Hashcat-M attack mode, we need to know what that number, or sorry, attack hash, we need to know what type of hash it is. And so to figure out what type of PDF this is, there are a couple of ways that we can do this. The first is to come here, if you're using a Mac, go to the Get Info, or if you're on a Windows, go to the Properties tag, and then here it shows us our version. So this is version 1.6. The other way that you can do it is you can choose to open your the PDF with a different file, like your text editor. In my case, I use TextMate. And if you go ahead and open it, here at the very, if we zoom in, here at the very tippity top, it gives us the version of the PDF file. So now we know that we're cracking a password that's version 1.6. And this corresponds, if we look here in the terminal, with the flag -M10500. And that's going to be important for what we're going to do next. So the 7th step is custom attacks, and this is where we start cracking. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and brute force this password using a dictionary. So in this way, let's go ahead and let's start setting up our Hashcat command. So here, let me zoom in for you. So we're going to do .hashcat, and then we know that it's a 10500 because that's for PDF 1.6, and then we want to brute force this. So we're going to do -A0, which is the brute force flag. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to use the merged.txt password dictionary, which you should have already downloaded. So the first file we input is our locked PDF file. And then the next thing that we need to do, let me just expand this out. The next thing that we need to do is give it the passwords list. So we'll come here and we'll go to password lists and then merged.txt. Now, before you hit enter, there's something important that you also need to do, which is you need to do --show at the end. What this does is it'll output our results to the command line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to also output this to a file. If you just try and output this to a file like that, you're not going to get the password. You have to have --show. So we'll do that, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to output this to the cracked passwords folder, which is right here, and we're going to do our locked PDF password.txt. So to review the command one more time, we have /hashcat. We're going to use .m because it's a 1.6 PDF. We're going to brute force this. We're trying to decrypt our locked PDF. Actually, I'm sorry, I got this command wrong. You don't input the file that you're trying to do, that you're trying to crack. Instead, you do the hash that you extracted earlier. So this one should actually be /locked PDF -hash.txt. Once we have the hash loaded, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to run our dictionary. We want to show the result, and then we want to output it to this text file. So go ahead and hit enter, and it should be pretty quick since this is a pretty easy password. And then if you come here and you open your .txt, like we talked about earlier, we have the hash here that's inputted, and then the colon, and then the password's right here. So in this case, it's 123. So if we come back here to this PDF file and we type in 123, it unlocks the file. And now we've unlocked the PDF, which is awesome. Now, like we talked about, so this is how you can brute force it with a dictionary. The other way you can do it is with a mask. In Linux, there are different types of masks. You can do things like $D, which is going to be digits, and there are lots of others that you can look up and use for whatever case that you need it in. So to decrypt this with a custom mask, we'll run the same flag, so -m 10500. We're going to brute force this. We're going to try and brute force our hash. And then instead of putting in the password list, we're going to put in the mask. So in this case, it's digit, digit, digit. If you have more complex passwords, you can do more complex things. And again, we'll do .show or --show. I won't output it this time to a file just to show you what it looks like in the command line. So once you have this command, go ahead and hit enter, and it'll give you the same result. So here's the hash, the colon, and then right here's the password. So that is how you decrypt a PDF file. You can do this with lots of other things. For example, here is office to hashcat.py. You can use this to decrypt Microsoft Office targets, so Excel, Word, PowerPoint, whatever it may be. So awesome. So now you have decrypted your first file, or maybe you've already decrypted things before and you're familiar with this. But congratulations on that. That's awesome. When I was first learning how to use Hashcat, um, there weren't too many good tutorials out there, and it was really confusing to learn how to do this. So we really hope that we've been able to show this to you in a really simple format that's easy for you to understand and follow. And once again, like we've talked about earlier, there are lots of different options you can run with Hashcat. If you do -help, you can get this whole list of command options, right? And so here are a bunch of the different flags that you can use. Some of these are pretty advanced. And then right here, this hash modes, these are all of the different hash types. So in our case, we came down, and it doesn't look like this is in alphabetical order, but we used 10.5. Oh, here it is, right here. We used 10.500 for a PDF 1.6. So this is where you can come and find what you need to use. All right, so now that we've done this, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to decrypt a list of passwords. So of MD5 hashes. So this is this hashes.txt file. I'm not going to open this up in a text editor because it'll take too long. But if you look here in the preview mode on the Mac, each one of these lines is a different password. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to decrypt a lot of these. So again, remember that, so we're going to follow the exact same format. It's going to be /hashcat. And so to do this, because there are so many passwords in this set right here, hashes.txt, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do a mask at this point. Since this is our first attempt, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll use our merge.txt password list. We're just going to do this one time just to show you. And then if you were to go on and further analyze the results of this first time, you can see if you can crack more passwords. So if we come here to -help again, and we look at all of these hash modes, this is MD5, so we'll use -m0. So we'll do hashcat -m0, and in this case we're going to do -a3, and then we'll come here and we'll load up our hashes.txt file. If you're not too familiar with the command line, you may have been noticing I've been doing things like /hashes, and then one letter, and then it autofills. You can just hit tab, and that'll autofill whatever you're starting out with. So if I put an H, it'll fill out hashes. I've had other files in there. So like if I do /locked, this is referring to this folder right here, this directory. And so just a really super easy shortcut. But anyways, getting back to Hashcat, so we're looking for an MD5, we're going to do -a3, we're loading in our hashes, and then we're going to go ahead and load up our password list. So that is merge.txt. Again, we want to show this, and then we're going to output this to our cracked passwords folder, and we'll call this MD5 list cracked.txt. So again, just one more time as a quick review, you can go ahead and hit enter if you want. We're going to do an MD5, we're going to do -a3, we've entered in our hashes here, we've entered in our dictionary here, and then we want to show the results, and we want to output them to a text file. So let's go ahead, and again, in case you don't have it memorized, which I don't expect you to, but 3 with -a stands for brute force. And so we're going to go ahead and hit enter, and this will probably take just a second. So mine's done. If we come here to cracked passwords, and then we come here to this MD5 list cracked, and go ahead and open it up. And here, so Towards the bottom of the list is where mine opened it up, and you can see of all of these passwords. There's LF03, BSA250, Vaselin, 4Kids, right? So anyways, I'll scroll up to the top so you can compare, but you should have these exact same results. If your computer, particularly on Windows, is showing some sort of error, you're going to need to troubleshoot and Google those errors and try and figure it out. More likely than not, there might be some sort of minor configuration issue, or you may have entered the command in incorrectly. So go ahead and rewind. If you're seeing any errors, go ahead and rewind and look at the commands I've entered in and make sure yours are the same. Also remember that on Windows, it's not /hashcat. It is hashcat64.exe, or if you're doing a 32-bit version, it'll be hashcat32.exe. All right, so now you have cracked an entire password list, which is pretty dang awesome. So if this were, let's say, you're working through your company's lists, you're reviewing your company's database of passwords, and let's say it's for a large organization that employs like 200,000 people, which there are several companies that do that. You were able to crack almost 81,000 passwords in just a matter of moments, which doesn't speak well to the hashing algorithm or the strength of the passwords. These are all pretty short. So that is how you crack passwords with Hashcat. So if you have any questions about this or want me to clarify anything about what we've done here, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll respond as best I can to the questions that you have. All right, so that's it, and then we'll just wrap this up with just a quick review of all the things we've learned in this 3-part series, and then we'll show you a couple of other links where you can learn more about Hashcat. All right, and with that, this concludes our password cracking with Hashcat tutorial. So way to go. You've cracked a PDF password, and you've also decrypted a list of MD5 hashes. So while we didn't cover everything Hashcat can do, because it's a really powerful tool with a lot of features, what we have done is provided you with a basic foundation of what Hashcat is and how it works, how you can use it. So we hope that these tutorials will help you as you progress in your career as an ethical hacker, in your school classes, or whatever legal and ethical situations you may need to use Hashcat in. So if you have any questions or recommendations on how we can improve this and our other ethical hacking tutorials, please leave them in the comments below. And listed here are a couple of high-quality Hashcat tutorials you can follow if you want to get more introductory level Hashcat experience. So in terms of credit, we thank NetMux for their very useful book on password cracking and the cracking methodology. We also acknowledge and thank pangs.win for providing the list of MD5 hashes online, which is what we used in the tutorial. So here at Ahjax, we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, that you enjoyed this tutorial, and we hope to see you in our other ethical hacking tutorials.